maps. They are all going to appear on this page. Check back on December 1st as we will have our holiday lights app that Holly created up alongside of this Kings County Public Atlas. So this text here is the one with the link to click to open the map. If you're following along, you may also wish to open this Public Atlas user guide, which when you click it will open a PDF that contains all the instructions that I'm also going to go over now with the map. So if you forget anything, feel free to jump back. Oh, and I did want to record our session. So if I can. Oh, it's already going. Okay, wonderful. So when you open the map, this is what you should see. There will probably be a screen that pops up that asks you to accept our little disclaimer that we have on there for legal purposes. The province also mandates that we add their disclaimer for the use of the property lines that you see in the map. So that's what that initial splash screen is all about. It begins with a pretty zoomed out view of the county. You can just make out the overall county boundary outline. And as you zoom in to the map, it's largely designed for use with a mouse that's got a roller on it. It really makes things a lot easier that you can just click the roller to zoom in and out. But if you don't have that, the plus or minus here will zoom you out in correspondingly. Over on the left-hand side is where the legend of the map is, and this is interactive with the zoom level of your map. So if I zoom out, certain map layers have a visibility extent so that they disappear as you zoom out. And if they disappear on the map, they also disappear from the legend. So it's something to keep in mind if you're looking for what is a particular feature over here and you don't see it, you may have to zoom in to be able to actually see it. Before we get too far into it, I also want to let you know that these map applications don't work very well with Internet Explorer. They work best on the latest versions of Google Chrome, Firefox, Apple Safari, or Edge Chromium are the most recommended. So if you're using something other than that and things aren't appearing properly or looking right, it may be that you need to change to a different internet browser. So that being said, once you're on the map, you can add the link to your favorites or copy it and create a shortcut so that you can access it easier each time. And let's start with the basics. I'm sort of going through that user manual as I go. It starts with these navigation tools, which I've already mentioned. Besides zooming in or out, the little home button will take you back to the default, what we call the default map view that you were at when you started when you first opened the page. Mobile users. Now this app was made trying to keep in mind that people might look at this on a laptop, on a desktop, or on their phone. It works on any device that can access the internet. However, this little guy, the Find My Location, will only work if you have your location turned on in your phone. So just to know. And the compass orientation, well, I've set it to be north at the top. That shouldn't change because there's no way to tilt your screen. So yeah, basically over here we've got legend, which gives you a view of the map symbols and a description beside them of what they are. For those of you that just joined in and missed the beginning, the zoom level of the map changes what you see here. For instance, you'll see the trail here, which is the green line. As I zoom out and the trail disappears, it also disappears from the legend. Directly underneath our legend is what we call the map layers box. The majority of the layers are hidden under the Public Atlas map layers header. The zoning is separate here, and the little eyeball icon, when there's a line through it, as these two have, they're currently not visible. You simply click the eyeball to make them visible and turn on, and you'll see the zoning slowly come on in my map. I've defaulted these to be off because they kind of clutter up the map and take over when they are on. But all you have to do is come over here and toggle them on or off if you wish to see the zoning information. So a little bit more on that layer later. There are additional subheaders in here, which we've attempted to categorize the map data to make it easier to maybe find what exactly you're looking for. Under the address and property data, I'm going to zoom in to allow these things to appear. Turning some of the visibility of some layers, setting it so that it disappears as you zoom out, it is also increases the refresh rate at which the map can render on your screen. It makes the map faster, essentially, to put those settings in there. So if I zoom right in, you'll begin to see the Civic numbers pop up with their labels. So again, the little eyeball icon, you can turn these things on or off. I've just turned off the Civics. I'm going to open this user guide because I also want to let people know that at the very end of this document, I've got a big chart here that goes through all of the map layers and gives a description of what they are, because some of these things can be confusing for people who don't use them all the time. So right away, as I'm looking at the map, I noticed, well, people are going to ask civic address and non-municipal civic address. What does that mean and why are they different? Within the county itself, we actually have a few other municipal units that operate independently of the county and sort of are their own jurisdiction, even though geographically they lie inside the county. So there's the three towns, Wolfville, Kentville, and Berwick, and also the D&D land and First Nations, Annapolis Valley First Nations and Glooscap. They do their own civic addressing and assign their own civic points, which is why you see the two different layers here. Holly Sanford is our civic addressing coordinator and assigns all civic addresses for the county. So that's why we keep our own data set. I'm going to click on one of these and just go over pop-ups. So any feature that is turned on in the layers list and you're zoomed in far enough that you can see it, you can click on and get what's called a pop-up. This window will open. We can see here that for where I click, there are 5 pop-ups. The first, now I can't change the order in which these appear. It's whatever just comes back from the server that hosts this map data. So you'll have to click through to maybe get the one that you want. So we know that this particular address is within the village of Greenwood. The Kingston Fire Department is the one that would respond to a call, and the Kingston RCMP are the policing service jurisdiction. So the property, or we know them as PIDs, which stands for property identifier. If you own a property, you're probably familiar with this. You see it on your tax bill. All properties within Kings County begin with the 55 number. These are in here courtesy of the province. We get them, the Nova Scotia Property Records Database, through the Geomatics Center. And oh, I'm just going to re-click on that. I lost my hyperlink. Okay. So we're mandated by law to have a copy of their license agreement here. You can click on that and read the PDF if it's of interest to you. A lot of people aren't aware that the properties, although you can come to the municipality to apply, to do a subdivision or consolidate property parcels together, the land registry office where they actually get registered is where you go to call when you have issues with your property lines or you think it might be wrong. And I've included a hyperlink here that would take you right to that site and the phone number. Hopefully that is of help to some people using this app. What else do I want to show you? So also within this little layers window, there are a few other options that you can do. You can, this increase opacity and decrease will kind of put a little bit of a transparency on the levels. This probably would work better if I show you with the zone information. Holly and I were just playing around with this earlier. So I've just turned the zoning on. It's quite dark. If you want to be able to see other layers through that, you can, click to increase the opacity or decreasing. See, it's lightening the colors up in my map and making it a lot more legible, but you can still sort of see the zone labels here. I'm going to go ahead and click here on the map to get a pop-up. And I just want to show you some of the hyperlinks that are included in the zone pop-up window. Okay, so this zone, you saw that the label underneath was R4, which you get here in the pop-up window. R4 means that it's residential multi-unit zoning for this particular area. A lot of calls that come into the county are people wanting to know, well, what can I do in my zone on my property? Can I operate a home-based business? Can I build an apartment building? So I've included the hyperlink here that takes you to those bylaw sections. So you'll know, let me just jump back to the map. Land use bylaw section is 4.6 for this zone. So you can come back and see section 4 and click on that to get a summary of what can be done in your zone, what is allowed, uses that are permitted. I'm also going to throw out the caveat right now that zone information always needs to be verified by either a development officer or a planner with the county before you go ahead and start to make decisions or take out permits. This map is simply a graphic that is used for, reference purposes. You should always call and check ahead of starting any construction. See, what else can I have in here? I'm going to jump down right now because I want to go to the other side of the county. So this bottom window here are what's known as bookmarks. I've pre-configured some of these bookmarks to take you to places that I thought folks might want to navigate to often. This is Aylesford Lake Public Beach, our Kings County Municipal Beach, where they have a big Canada Day celebration every year. They are alphabetical. There's Cape Split, popular hiking spot. But what I want to show you next is the Grand Pre area, which is also home to UNESCO site for the landscape of Grand Pre. Yeah, so in the map layers, this UNESCO and heritage header has a number of interesting map layers that hopefully will be of interest to some residents. I'll just click. So, oh, I've still got the zoning on. Another thing, if you turn a layer off over in the layers, such as, I'm going to pop that one back off, then they don't come up in the pop-ups as well. So it can also speed up your navigation and use of the map. So here we go. UNESCO World Heritage Site. Click here to visit the landscape of Grand Pre. Website for more information. This is the group that worked in conjunction with the county to attain the UNESCO designation for this area. There's a lot of really interesting information in there for people to look at. And this hyperlink here will actually take you to the UNESCO site where you can read about the whole file. What else have we got? So I'm just going to move down around the map. This group of little tiny circles, which might be hard to read for some, is a share widget. So this allows you to share the map by clicking on any one of these. You can also just get a link that you can embed in another website or in an email or anything you like. You can share maps on social media. Yeah, so I thought that would be a handy tool. Moving around down on the bottom right, this is a full screen tool that it gets rid of the whole left-hand panel and gives you more screen real estate for just the map only. And you just click it again to let your panel reappear. This can be dragged in or out to make it, and I think if you click on that arrow, it closes it as well. So yeah, there's 2 ways to close that. Okay. Moving up, this measure tool, and if you hover over each of these, it will tell you what they're for. The little measure tool is something that was suggested by a staff member here, because a lot of times when people are wanting to build a house or any kind of a structure in their property, the zoning details, which we've already looked at, gives you something that's known as setbacks. So in order to build something, for instance, in this zone, you need to have a minimum frontage of 20 feet of road frontage. So you can actually come back to the map and measure what the frontage is of your property using this measure tool. So it'll give you a prompt, start to measure by clicking the map in place to do your first point. I mean, it's not going to be exact. It's not snapping to the property lines, but it will give you a general idea. This particular parcel has 72 meters of road frontage, plenty in order to build a structure if that was that particular zone. You click new measurement to clear that off and draw another one. And not only will it draw lines or linear features, but you can also draw and get area by using the second tab, and it's giving a measurement here in meter square. So um, another handy tool above the measure tool is base map. So a base map is what appears under the map if all the layers are turned off. I'm going to go ahead and turn off everything that I've added to the map and zoom out to show you. I guess I can use the home button. So this is just the base map, which you can't click on it and get any information. It's just an underlying map that also cuts down the amount of layers that we need to put over top of the map. And you have the ability to come in here and change the base map. Now there's a lot of variety in here, but what most people are usually interested in is seeing the aerial imagery. And this is compiled from a variety of sources. And is updated continuously. So if there's a new construction going on that you're not seeing, check back because it might be there the next time you open the map. Might be of interest to note that these base maps here with the little Canada flag icon showing next to them are quite interesting. These are put together by Esri Canada. Esri is the software provider that we use at our county to conduct all our GIS and mapping tasks. They have a partnership with, well, anybody who will participate with these Canada base maps in order to get mostly municipalities, people who are the source of their data to partner with them and submit data sets to them so that they can include them in these base maps so that they know that they're authoritative and reliable. And as I said before, the more information that is on these base maps, the less we need to put on top of them. So with all that in mind, though, this particular map, I did designed to work with a very simple base map, and the symbology of these items that you see in the map works well with something that's not too busy. If you turn the imagery on, there just might be some things that are less visible because imagery can kind of get in the way or make things less legible, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. So yeah, good to use, but it's also nice to just switch back to something rather simple to make sure you're not missing anything.
Hey, Monica, we have our first question.
Okay, go ahead.
If you want to take a second here, just taking a look at the name here, Carolyn. Carolyn, if you want to turn your mic on, go ahead. If you're able to, and if not, just type your question in and we'll do our best to answer it.
I don't know that I'm able to to do anything with.
Hi.
Oh, there we
There
go.
we go.
Hi.
Sorry, I couldn't figure out how to type it in. I wanted to know if it's possible to translate this into imperial, because you're doing area and stuff in metric, which, as a former archaeologist, I understand, but most of the real estate ads and things like that discuss in square feet. So I wondered if it's possible to go to a imperial measurement.
Wonderful question. Thank you. Yes. I don't know what kind of glitch was going on, but I've reopened the measure tool to show you that you are able to change the units. And imperial is the second choice down here so that you can then go in and measure and get in any pretty much any unit you need.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your question. I'm glad to revisit that because it didn't pop up when I first clicked it on and I just sort of made the decision to just go by. But I'm glad we revisited because it is definitely possible. And yes, thank you for bringing that up. Okay, so the last little tool left here is just the search widget up here, which allows you to simply type in an address. I usually use this one. It's the address of our municipal office before we move to our new building. So it's one that I often use to check on things on the map. So it might be important to note, you type in an address. Here, I'll type in the one of the current building. It's a lot longer. So suggestions will come up based on what you start typing, and you can click on that suggestion, which will kind of highlight it on the map, but you're zoomed out. But then if you go in and actually click on the choice you've made, then it zooms you in, I think, to a 1 to 500 scale. So you're able to see the more detailed features. I would like to work on this search tool in the future so that it will also allow you to just type in maybe like a parcel ID, because a lot of people come in here looking up specific properties. But for now, it's by address only. Yeah, so that's it in a nutshell. I believe I set, yes, the little snippet of our new logo here. If you click on that, it will also open up the municipal website, like kind of like a quick link to it for you. And that kind of completes the tour of the map and its tools. I realize there's a lot here in just with all this data, which we don't have the time to go over all the data sets here. But I do highly recommend that if you're interested in learning to come back to, where did I put that? Here, the user manual PDF, because it will explain to you all these tools as I've just gone through, but at the end it's got the map layer descriptions, and the hyperlinks that I've got in the pop-ups are also included in this PDF here. So it'll be handy for trying to learn more about the actual data on the map. Yeah, so that sort of concludes my part. If there are any other questions, we'd love to take more questions now. Thanks, Councillor Meisner. I just saw your comment. I think it will also be a great asset. And to be honest, it's going to cut down a lot of data requests or requests for information that come in that we deal with, because people will be able to come to the map and look things up themselves, which they should be able to do. After all, the data belongs to everybody. Okay, I see Jim's question. My top left-hand box has no legend. Oh, you're using a second monitor. All you have to do, Jim, is zoom in on your map. The legend is interactive with the zoom level. So layers are set to be invisible if you're very zoomed out. And the more you zoom into your map, then the layers should appear in the legend. If you aren't able to get that to happen, then I can work with you on that. If anybody also has questions that they don't want to deal with here, I can email you answers after, or
Try
I
that,
think
that
you,
layer works. Mhm.
okay.
Monica, I wonder if the panel is closed, like you clicked the arrow, so it might just be the panel was closed.
It could be closed. It also could be if the layers are turned off. Jim, if you're watching my screen, if things are turned off here, you're going to get the no legend. So just make sure that the little eyeballs have things turned on. Otherwise, they're not visible, and they also won't appear in the legend. So that could be what's going on in your map. Um, So this is great. We had a lot of interest. There were 31 people signed up to attend today. I don't think all of them made it, but um, it's just nice to see so much interest in these new tools, and want to let everybody know that Holly has a wonderful holiday lights app to be released on December 1st that lets people see where there are really great Christmas lights going on in the county and getting out layer error messages. Okay. And as well, John will be having a winter maintenance map app go up live soon. That is a map where, you know, people can go on and click on their street and find out who they call if their road isn't plowed or needs maintenance of some kind. Eyeball is open. Okay.
Perhaps, Monica, we can touch base with Councillor Meisner and look at that if other people are having similar issues. Perhaps it's a permissions error.
Certainly. Yep. We definitely can do that. Okay. Similarly, yes. So Jim, I can touch base with you after we're done here and help you through it to try and find out what might be going on. And Councillor Meisner, I don't, if you happen to be in the building, I can scoot over when we're done here and come and have a look at, see what's going on with yours as well. Without seeing the error message itself, I'm not sure how to troubleshoot that on here, but does anybody else have any questions that I might be able to answer right now? I am going to post this session as a video that people can watch who might have missed it, who wanted to attend. And hopefully that will also be of help to others wanting to learn how to use the app. Okay, that sounds good. So I guess that concludes our session. Thank you everybody for coming. And I'm going to type my email into this chat window so that if people are using this and have any questions or complaints or suggestions, send them my way. It's like most things that are interactive and online now, they're a work in progress and we aim to improve it over the course of its life here. So open to suggestions and yeah, thanks. Thanks, Brenda. Oh, before you go, I did want to do a draw. We had a contest for a prize for an ArcGIS personal use license, which gives the lucky winner access to all of this wonderful, wonderful software that we use at the county to make all of these apps. And Carolyn Frost is the lucky winner. So congratulations, Carolyn. I will be in touch with you via email to send you your prize.
And Monica, I'd just like to chime in, and we'd like to thank Esri as well, who had provided that license to us free of charge to provide to the winner here. So
Yes, thanks, Chad. November 17th was World GIS Day, and in celebration of that, they provided us with the license to give out to a lucky winner. So congrats, Carolyn, and thanks everyone for coming. That concludes our session, and feel free to reach out anytime with any questions or concerns. We appreciate you joining in.